After that, we have history. Our teacher was once a sidekick to a popular hero agency prior to her independence. People call her Sparko. I definitely know her. She's a badass. Not to mention, this is my favorite subject. Many items traded from Japan to Korea and the Ryukyu Kingdom were eventually shipped to China. In the Ryukyu Islands in Korea, the clans in charge of trade built trading towns outside Japanese territory where commerce actually took place. Due to the necessity for Japanese subjects to travel to and from these trading posts, this resembled something of an outgoing trade, with Japanese subjects making regular contact with foreign traders in essentially extraterritorial land. Commerce with China and Dutch traders in Nagasaki took place on an island called Dejima, separated from the city by a narrow strait. Foreigners could not enter Nagasaki from Dejima, nor could Japanese civilians enter Dejima without special permission or authorization. The ability to manipulate bioelectrical aura, an invisible field of condensed bioelectricity, which functions like a second skin and doesn't expend far from the host body. It makes the user's skin invulnerable on various levels, i.e. small firearms. Noki is able to extend the field to protect others inside it. The user can also use their condensed electricity to cover their insides and prevent internal injury. For the island's inhabitants, conditions on Dejima were humiliating. The police of Nagasaki could harass them at will, and at all times a strong Japanese guard was stationed on the narrow bridge to the mainland in order to prevent them from leaving the island. And why am I hearing tapping? Sorry, Sensei. Kinu has complete control over every single strand of hair on her body as if they're her limbs. She can weave her hair into different shapes. She can bind foes, snatch objects, and creating defensive barriers. Due to hair locking nerves, damage to her hair does not cause pain to Kinu. By consuming protein, she can regrow her hair quicker than normal people.
Can anyone read to me the 4th paragraph out loud?
I do feel a little bit better when it comes to modern literature, since I do work as a part-time librarian receptionist across the street from my home. A fierce shriek of a storm had been answered by a splitting crash over their heads, and ere they could leap aside, a massive falling beech tree had thundered down on them. My teacher's a pro hero that I rarely heard of, Entrappa. I just call her Shampoo Sensei. Ulrich von Gradwitz found himself stretched on the ground, one arm numb beneath him and the other held almost as helplessly in a tight tangle of forked branches, while both legs were pinned beneath the fallen mass. How am I seated next to him again?
I'm so sorry, Hanatani. I do not like to interrupt. Haku! Can you describe what Hanatani just read for us?
I believe she was mentioning something about Tybalt on the ground. Oh, crap.
That's not even in the book we're reading. The next time you want to not pretend that you're in outer space, at least pay attention to which book we have just switched to.
Sorry, Shampoo Sensei. Did you know that shrimp is pretty low on calories? Either way, what can I get for you? The morning ends and transitions to the afternoon, and every afternoon is, simply put, a lunch break. Students of every year are to be in the cafeteria for their course meals. Some people are more keen to visit the Cook Hero lunch rush, especially those whose quirks specialize in gourmet. White rice chicken wings. You got it! Alright everyone, considering that I have to teach the intelligence to teach all in this glorious session of mine, you all listen to what I say and immediately follow my lead. If any of you are not fast enough to answer my questions, then I'm afraid you have yourself to blame. Number Crunch's brain is a living organic computer. Because of this, he can think far faster than the typical human and retain all information perfectly. After lunch, we get one more subject to tackle, and safe to say, this eases my anxiety almost completely, as I am indeed one of the few whose favorite subject is mathematics. I was always a fan of solving numeric puzzles. The equation above shows how temperature F, measured in degrees Fahrenheit, related to a temperature C, measured in degrees Celsius. Based on the equation, how are we able to solve this situation? Show of hands! Come on, 20 hands here, this should not be hard. I'm easily great at these numbers, you know. I'm not fond of teaching tiny-minded babies here. Best female student of the year. Show your worth. A temperature's increase of 1 degree Fahrenheit is equivalent to a temperature increase of 5/9 degrees Celsius. Correct! A temperature increase of 1 degree Celsius is equivalent to a temperature degree of 1/8 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, let's move on to the next question. What is the product of -4 and +6? Show hands! Anybody! You there, with the purple hair and the funny round flush on your face.
This asshole can't be serious.
Multiplication. Since it's one negative and one positive, it will automatically equate to a negative. This answer will be negative 24. Yes, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you solve an answer with a keen mindset like me and this one over here. Psst, psst. Hana-chan, can I look through your notes real quick? Go Omoki, calculation hero. Number crunch. He does not deserve to be called by his hero name in my book. You see how he just easily talked about someone's insecurities and looked down at us? Hands down the most disliked teacher on this list next to Oshiro-sensei. How is Hana-chan enabled from all this is beyond me. Like seriously, excuse me, sensei, for sucking hard at math. As the class that I'm the most anxious about has come to fruit, the first steps of reaching to heroism, and finally, the moment we have all been waiting for, the big dish. Foundational Hero Studies. Phew, damn it, what a piece of work. Feels like I've been trying to break a brick wall just to get some attention driven. What did I tell you? The majority of these students are not qualified to even make it past this year in general, especially these new-coming freshmen, definitely. Animated, as in misbehaved and disrespectful? As soon as I yell out the first words, half of the class is already asleep.
Please don't be like that, Omoki-san. I'm really certain these children are much more unique and animated. I'm not sure if you're even giving them the guidance that they need. I don't seem to have any problems with the majority of those students. In fact, I really love helping the ones that are too afraid to speak out their issues.
Not surprising that you would always pamper them. It's pointless. Shouldn't be any obvious that they won't even make it to the next class if mass expulsion was just as valid as in the way he teaches them. They're just not that good enough, just like their upperclassmen. He has a point, Shozai. Class B.2 is in fact a mockery of the entire hero courses. A majority of them call it quits before they even manage to make it to the hero field. What makes you think that some of us staff members are going to have faith in this year's freshmen?
Well, for starters, we need to try harder as teachers. One thing some of you guys fail to realize is that these students would probably have issues or behavioral problems. Your best option is to press and examine them in order to get the best out of their knowledge. Here you go, thinking about yourself.
Then suppose it's simply because they don't like the class in general because they can't answer an easy question compared to me. Like, where's the logic in that?
Again, talking about yourself.
Don't you think so, Kata? Me, personally, I have faith in this class. In fact, I was the one that examined their behaviors and their quirks and even gave them a review rundown with the principal. I already organized their treatments and will soon give the examination of each student's behaviors reported to you as soon as I give them the survey in 3 days. And honestly, I wouldn't be saying these students are giving you all trouble on the very first day, especially you, Omoki-kun. I know for sure if anybody can make your class dislikable, it's gotta be from the fault of oneself. What? But I digress. Best part, I already agreed with the assigned Foundational Hero Studies teacher for them. Now you've caught my attention. What does she mean? Let me guess, you know nothing of their Foundational Hero Studies teacher. Are you trying to say that it's going to be different than classes 1A and 3B? Exactly what we mean. Pride and prejudice, strength and courage, and guts made out of metal, electrifying enough to turn a coward into a valiant.
Oh dear. Now I'm starting to feel sorry for them.
You don't mean? A hero almost as compatible to All Might. But if they think that their major is going to be all sunshine and rainbows, then they are in for a terribly rude awakening.
Oh, really? Yeah, they said that Class 1A will have All Might as their teacher.
Not surprising since that class seemed to have more promising quirks. Not like Class B is any different. I smell an aroma that screams excitement! I am not overwhelmed on it. Neither am I. I'm excited to tell you the truth. They said we're supposed to have a pro hero of a high ranking to teach us. He seems to be living a double occupation. All the more reason to take this as a good thing to be excited about this period. I mean, how bad can it be? Alright, who turned out the lights? Huh? Genki, sit.